Rejected for being too fat, but what an unexpected CEO said changed her life forever. Sarah's eyes brimmed with tears as she clutched the latest rejection letter, the words slashing deeper than any jagged glass. Too fat, they said, as if her worth could be measured by a number on a scale. There she sat, a dedicated single mother at 34, an administrative assistant with experience, eyes filled with determination overshadowed by the struggle of balancing two spirited kids and caring for her elderly father, a war veteran who fought battles both on the battlefield and in his mind. What did it all matter if the world refused to see her? That dreary afternoon, hope seemed to dissolve into the clouds above as Sarah trudged past her neighbors, familiar faces that masked their own struggles behind smiles and polite hellos. Then she stumbled upon the town's annual summer fair, a vibrant swirl of laughter, enticing aromas, and the warmth of community spirit. She could almost taste the funnel cakes. Her heart ached for her children's wide-eyed joy as they dove into the excitement, their laughter erupting like fireworks. For a moment, Sarah allowed herself to breathe, to feel ordinary. A smile crept upon her lips as she watched them play, but then she caught sight of the CEO, a shiny figure standing at his company's booth, engaging effortlessly with the crowd. Her stomach twisted with uncertainty. Could she approach? Would he judge her like the rest? But something flickered within her. A crumbling wall of self-doubt began to mend. With her heart racing, Sarah stepped forward, bracing herself for rejection, yet hoping for connection. She introduced herself, her voice quaking under the weight of her truth. They spoke, simple words turning into deep understanding as he listened intently. There, amid funnel cakes and laughter, they found common ground. He shared his struggles with society's expectations, tales of failures, and stubborn resilience that mirrored her own journey. A connection sparked, a partnership blossomed into an initiative promoting body positivity and inclusivity. Sarah's heart soared, but just when it seemed like the winds of fortune were finally shifting, clouds rolled in. The company faced an economic downturn, pressure gripping town like a vice. Doubts paralyzed Sarah's heart as long-held prejudices resurfaced among their supporters. The momentum they'd built quivered as voices once supportive grew suddenly silent, reeling under fear of judgment. Sarah remembered her father's teachings to fight through the odds, to never surrender, but now, she felt cornered. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Facing a heart-wrenching choice, Sarah grappled with the essence of her own self-worth. Should she retreat, allowing fear and societal bias to claim her dreams? Or should she rise, chanting defiance against the limitations that tethered her? In that turbulent moment, fate threw an unexpected visitor into her path, shaking the very core of her resolve. Would she dare to embrace the possibility of change, standing tall amid the rubble of odds stacked against her? A fierce storm of emotions brewed within, pulling her toward a decision that could redefine everything she believed. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the fairgrounds as Sarah stood frozen. Each heartbeat echoed like a distant drum in her ears. She glanced at her children as they raced between booths, caught up in their own world of cotton candy and laughter. Their joy was infectious, yet her heart felt heavy with the weight of expectations, both from society and herself. And then the unexpected visitor appeared. It was Marissa, her old college friend. Sarah hadn't seen her in years, their paths diverging after graduation, each consumed by life's demands. But now Marissa looked vibrant, full of life, a stark contrast to Sarah's muddled feelings. "Hey, Sarah, long time no see," she exclaimed, pulling Sarah into a warm hug. At first, Sarah felt awkward, unsure how to engage. But Marissa's enthusiasm turned the moment bright. "I heard about your work with the CEO. How amazing. You're inspiring so many people." The praise, though unasked for, sent a ripple of warmth through Sarah. Yet the tidal waves of anxiety surged back with full force. "I don't know if that's enough," Sarah confessed, her voice tinged with uncertainty. The initiative could fail any minute with all the cuts and backlash. Marissa's expression softened, her eyes registering concern. You've been fighting for a cause that matters, Sarah. Don't let setbacks silence you. Remember your passion and why you started. Clarity crashed over Sarah like a wave. She had ventured into the depths of this project with hope, wanting to change the narrative around body image, wanting to show her children that confidence was not tied to a number. Could she really let fear drive her decisions now? With newfound determination, Sarah decided they had to fight. Let us organize a town meeting. We can gather support, show people they're not alone, she blurted out, the spark of an idea igniting her spirit. But Marissa's eyes lit up. Yes, let us make it happen. We can bring in speakers, share stories. Suddenly, the weight of her worries began to lift. It felt liberating to chase after a goal rather than hide from it. Together, they could amplify voices that mattered and show the town how important unity and self-acceptance were. As the plans swiftly unfurled, Sarah felt her drive reignite. She picked up her phone and sent out messages to friends, old colleagues, and community members. Each notification was a push against self-doubt, a step toward reclaiming her narrative. Yet, as they shared their vision across town, whispers of doubt began to creep back in. What if they reject us again? That nagging voice returned. Was it possible to endure the cycle of hope only to be let down once more? Standing before her children, Sarah took a deep breath, her heart pounding. They deserved to see her fight. They deserved to know their mother was more than just the labels the world affixed to her. More than too fat or not enough. As night fell and the fair lights twinkled like stars, Sarah held on to a feeling of hope. The emotional weight still lingered, but now there was purpose behind it. It's time to rise, Sarah whispered to herself, glancing at Marissa, who wore a look of unwavering support. Together, they were going to face whatever consequences came. With her heart racing anew, Sarah felt ready to embrace the waves of change ahead. But before she could fully embrace it, another unexpected twist skidded into view. A critical email dinged on her phone. Who could it be? Would it be the nudge they needed or another barrier to overcome? The uncertainty hung in the air, but one thing was clear. Sarah was ready to push back. Sarah stared at her phone, heart racing as the screen illuminated in the fading light. The email's subject line felt like a weight on her chest. Feedback on your initiative. With shaky hands, she opened it. The CEO's words blared from the screen, dripping with corporate jargon yet laced with disappointment. While we appreciate the initiative, we must reconsider our sponsorship due to recent budget constraints. Wishing you all the best. A rush of emotions crashed over her: frustration, fear, and an ache that felt like betrayal. She wanted to scream, to unleash her fury at the unfairness of it all. How could they turn their backs when all she was trying to do was help? Sarah? Marissa's voice broke through her thoughts. She stepped closer, peering at the phone that seemed to mock her in that moment. What is it? It's the CEO, Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. They pulled out. They don't believe in us. Marissa's eyes filled with concern. But you can't let this stop you. You've come too far. But what if they're right? Sarah felt small, vulnerable as the piercing doubts from her past flashed before her. What if I'm not enough? What if I was kidding myself, thinking I could make a difference? Marissa took a step back, her posture firm, unwavering. This isn't about them. This is about you and the message you want to share. Remember why you started this. So many people, including your kids, need to see you stand strong. The energy of the fair seemed to dim in comparison to the storm of emotions swirling inside Sarah. But then, just as quickly, determination flickered back to life, igniting within her a fire. Could she really let one rejection define everything? She took a breath, the spicy scent of cinnamon and nutmeg wafting through the air from the nearby food stall. It felt invigorating. You're right, she said, steadying herself. I want to give up. There are others out there who need to hear what we have to say. Marissa smiled, the light returning to her eyes. That's the spirit. Let us reach out to local influencers, get them on board. Maybe even host that town meeting sooner than we planned. We'll show them what community really means. Sarah nodded, a plan already forming. The night was still young, and the world outside was bursting with possibility. She grabbed Marissa's hand, a surge of excitement rushing through her. Let us do it. As they rushed into action, Sarah felt the pulse of the fair resume around her. Laughter erupted, children squealed in delight, and the air thrummed with life. She could almost see the vision forming a town gathering where all stories were told, where everyone's voice mattered. Just then, Marissa stopped abruptly, her face shifting from excitement to concern. Wait, what if we face more setbacks? People might not understand. Sarah paused, the air growing tense with uncertainty. This was the harsh truth, and for a moment, doubt crept back into the corners of her mind. But something deep inside her pushed back against that fear. We have to try, Marissa. I can't teach my kids to shy away from challenges. They deserve to see that it's okay to fall. What matters is how you get back up. With determination swirling between them, they began drafting their messages again, tightening their resolve. But then Sarah felt a vibration in her pocket, a second email notification. This one was from her children's school. Her heart skipped a beat. What could it possibly say? Another request for donations, or worse, a reflection of her own failures? As she opened it, some deep-seated worry tangled with her hopes. Would she find the support she longed for, or another rejection that might push her to the brink? The question hung heavy in the air. Only one thing was certain. Change was coming, and she couldn't back down now. With her heart racing, Sarah tapped on the email. A moment later, her eyes widened. The subject line read, "Invitation to discuss new initiatives." This couldn't be the email she feared. As she read further, urgency filled her chest. The principal wanted to set up a meeting to explore ways to engage parents in upcoming programs, emphasizing the importance of community involvement. They had seen Sarah's passion and were eager to collaborate on expanding her vision. Marissa, look. She turned the phone towards her friend, barely able to hold back her smile. Relief washed over her. There was still hope. Marissa leaned in, grinning ear to ear. This is amazing. They want you to lead? This is your chance to show them what you can do. Maybe Sarah's voice trailed off. Could she really take the spotlight after such a massive letdown? What about everything she faced? Were they ready to take a chance on her when she felt she might be losing her grip? Sarah, don't overthink it. This is confirmation that people see your potential, that they know how important you are to this community, Marissa encouraged. You have the skills. You just need to show them that your initiative can spark change. Taking a deep breath, Sarah tried to absorb the encouragement. Somewhere, a band started playing familiar tunes. Families danced nearby, their laughter filling the air. Could she still find joy amidst her uncertainty? Then she thought of her kids. They looked up to her, their mother who tried to make a difference. Okay, she finally replied, her voice steadying. Let us tackle this together. As they finalized plans for the town meeting, Sarah's initial excitement transformed into a plan of action. They started reaching out to others' friends, colleagues, local leaders, and each interaction reignited her spirit. With every email sent and phone call made, an undercurrent of resilience built within her, stronger than before. But over the next couple of days, as they gained momentum, doubts returned. What if no one showed up? What if the people she sought to inspire dismissed her ideas? The fears settled over her like a heavy blanket, but instead of stifling her, it fueled her determination. Each setback is a learning opportunity, Sarah reminded herself, fighting against that internal voice that whispered failure. If I can face rejection, I can face anything. One evening, as she scrolled through social media, searching for local influencers, a notification popped up. It was a message from an old high school friend, someone who knew her journey intimately. Without hesitating, Sarah pressed open, curiosity swirling with anticipation. The message contained an invitation to a community forum, a gathering centered around empowerment and growth. You should come, it read. It's time for voices like yours to be heard. Her heart leaped. This was it. If this forum connected with her mission, it could amplify her project beyond their small town. Excitement mixed with anxiety, holding tight within her chest. Could this be the moment that saved not just her initiative, but gave her community the hope they needed? Sarah knew she couldn't let fear dictate her actions. Just then, another message came through. It was from an email subscription, their subject line teasing with potential. This is your year. She couldn't help but wonder if the universe was giving her a nudge, or maybe a map that only she could decipher. Yet within that swelling hope loomed a new question. Simmering quietly, what if the encouragement only led to another heartbreak? Could she muster the strength to climb again, even higher than before? Determined, she replied to her friend, ready to accept the challenge. For every fear that tried to chain her down, she felt an equal pull to rise. Tomorrow would be a new beginning, but what would the forum reveal? Would it ignite a spark, or would it shine a light on the void she feared would never fill? The next morning, Sarah awoke with a familiar ache of anticipation lingering in her stomach. Today was the day of the community forum. The sun streamed through her window, illuminating the room, yet the bright light only amplified her nerves. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, a mix of hope and self-doubt clouding her face. "Just breathe," she whispered to herself, willing her racing heart to settle. Each beat echoed a reminder of her inner turmoil. Today wasn't just about her. It was about the community that needed her voice. With a hasty breakfast and a quick check on the kids, she slipped out the door, embracing the crisp morning air. As she drove, she turned the radio up, her favorite upbeat song pulsing through the car. The melody wrapped around her like a hug, momentarily easing her anxiety. Upon arriving at the forum venue, Sarah's heart pounded louder, drowning out the cheerful chatter of those milling about. She stepped inside. The air buzzed with anticipation. Rows of chairs filled the large hall, and brightly colored posters adorned the walls with empowering messages. "Look at this place," Marissa exclaimed, catching up with her. Her friend's eyes sparkled with excitement. "It's packed." Sarah scanned the room, seeing diverse faces, parents, educators, leaders from around the area, all gathered with a common goal. "It really is," she admitted, her breaths coming a bit easier. As the event began, the warmth radiating from the crowd helped stifle her fear. Local leaders shared their stories, each one a testament to resilience. But when the forum shifted into breakout sessions, Sarah found herself holding back. She hesitated at the door, unsure if it was time to show up and claim her place. "Sarah, you've worked hard for this," Marissa encouraged, nudging her forward. "It's your turn." With determination flowing through her veins, Sarah walked into the room. Tentative at first, she found a seat, her palms clammy as she remembered all the times she'd been overlooked or belittled. A facilitator greeted the group with a broad smile, and the conversation began, but Sarah felt distant, swallowed by her doubts. Then it happened. A question was posed, asking participants about their visions for community change. Sarah's heart raced, beating in sync with her thoughts. Suddenly, the room felt smaller, as if the weight of their collective hopes pressed down on her. "I have some ideas," she stammered, her voice trembling. Silence followed, but she pushed through. "I want to engage parents in the schools, create programs that include everyone, regardless of background." A hand shot up from the back. "That's exactly what we need. How can we help?" Another voice chimed in, offering suggestions and encouragement. Sarah's pulse quickened. As she spoke, she realized the doubts didn't define her. The light flickering inside her was blooming into something much brighter. By the end of the session, she felt exhilarated. People approached her, offering their support, sharing their stories, and offering to collaborate. It seemed as if the atmosphere had shifted, sparking hope where there once was fear. As her friend cheered her on, Sarah felt something rearranging deep within her. She wasn't just a participant in this community. She was a leader, ready to be seen and heard. As the day wore on, Sarah took a deep breath and reflected. What if this was the nudge she had been yearning for, a sign that her journey was just beginning? Just then, Marissa pulled her aside. "You were incredible. You have to keep this momentum going." Yet, amidst the cheers, a thought gnawed at the edges of her mind. What new challenges would this attention bring? Would the community still rally behind her when the inevitable critics surfaced? With hope simmering in her heart, Sarah pondered the next steps. Where would this newfound energy take her? As the curtain drew near, she found herself wondering, was she truly ready to embrace this destiny? And how would she navigate the waters of leadership as the spotlight shone brighter than ever? The following week was a whirlwind of activity. Sarah felt as if she was floating above the ground. The encouragement from the forum still echoed in her mind. Marissa had insisted they meet regularly to strategize how to channel this new wave of momentum. Each brainstorming session came with cups of coffee and laughter, grounding moments amid the swirl of her emerging responsibilities. "Okay, what's the next step?" Marissa asked, her fingers tapping rhythmically on the sleek tabletop. They sat in their favorite cafe, a cozy place with soft jazz playing in the background. The rich, aromatic scent of freshly baked pastries was hard to resist, but Sarah's focus was solely on the task at hand. I think we need to reach out to parents first, Sarah said, her voice gaining strength with each word. If we can get them excited about being involved, the rest will follow. Marissa nodded enthusiastically. And we can hold a workshop. Start small, but make it impactful. Maybe focus on how parents can support their kids' education at home? Yes, that's it. Sarah felt her cheeks warm with excitement. Could this be happening? Could she really be the catalyst for change? Ideas poured from her, and for the first time in years, her voice didn't hesitate. But doubt crept back in during quiet moments, whispering questions into her mind. Would anyone show up? What if they turned away from her ideas just as she had feared all those years? A few days later, as Sarah was arranging flyers in her tiny kitchen, a sudden knock at the door startled her. It was David, the community center director, someone whose opinion she respected more than most. He stood there, holding a stack of papers, his brow creased with urgency. Sarah, I've been hearing a lot about what you're trying to do, he said, his voice grave. I want you to know I'm with you. I think this initiative can truly make a difference. His words ignited a flame within her, yet a flicker of fear darted through her mind. But are you sure? What if people don't respond? David placed a hand on her shoulder, their eyes locking. Sometimes, it's about being brave enough to start the conversation, he reassured. You already lit the fire at the forum. Keep it going. Inspired by that moment, Sarah and Marissa decided to host their first workshop at the community center. They planned the event meticulously, spreading the word through local schools and places of worship. When the day arrived, Sarah's heart raced as she stood at the front of the room, the chairs filled with nervous but hopeful faces. Thank you for coming, she said, her voice trembling but resolute. This is just the beginning. Let us work together to create the change we want to see. As hands shot up with questions and eager voices erupted, Sarah felt the warmth of connection enveloping her heart. People leaned in, nodding, sharing stories of their own struggles and desires for better community support. The initial anxiety slowly dissipated, replaced by a sense of oneness and purpose. Yet, somewhere in the thrumming excitement, a shadow loomed in Sarah's heart. She had seen dismissive looks and heard the quiet murmurs of skeptics talk about her behind closed doors. What if her leadership attracted unwanted attention from those who didn't understand? Could she handle the criticism when it inevitably came? With newfound resolve, Sarah knew she would face whatever emerged. But little did she realize, the real test was waiting just around the corner. In a matter of days, she would receive an unexpected call that would change everything. The unexpected call came on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Sarah had just returned home from another busy day at the community center. She was sipping on a cup of tea as she listened to the comforting sound of raindrops dancing against her window. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, jolting her out of her thoughts. Hello? She answered, trying to sound composed. Hi, is this Sarah? The voice on the other end was confident yet warm. It was a man, and she could hear muffled sounds of conversation in the background. Yes, this is she replied, a mix of curiosity and anxiety threading through her words. I'm Tom Mitchell, the CEO of Community Connections Network. I got your number from David, he said, and Sarah felt her heart skip. She had never spoken to someone so influential, and yet here he was, reaching out to her. I've been following your initiative, Tom continued. Impressive work at the community center, really inspiring. I'd love to help amplify your efforts. The weight of his words enveloped her, like a warm embrace. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Sarah felt both honored and slightly intimidated. I want to discuss the workshop you're planning. I think there is potential for a partnership that could really elevate it, he explained, his voice steady. Her thoughts raced. A partnership? A chance to expand their reach. The idea felt exhilarating yet overwhelming. That sounds amazing. But what do you envision? She asked, her tone cautiously hopeful. I'm thinking we can connect with local businesses, possibly even do a sponsorship, he suggested. It would be great to get more funding and resources into your program. As he spoke, Sarah's mind danced with possibilities. They could provide materials for parents, expand their outreach, and even incorporate guest speakers. Yes. But a nagging worry clung to her heart. What if the businesses don't take us seriously? What if they think we're just wasting their time? Tom chuckled lightly. Trust me, when they see the passion your community has, they'll be listening. You've sparked something important, and it's time to take it further. His confidence sent ripples of courage through her. So what's the next step? She asked, her mind racing with tasks, ideas, and strategies. I'd love for you to join me next week for a local business conference. You can present your vision, and I'll help you navigate the discussions, he suggested. Her heart pounded. This opportunity felt enormous, almost frightening. She thought of the skepticism she'd faced and the fear of failure that sometimes clouded her path. That sounds incredible. But I'm nervous, she admitted. He paused, and in that silence, she sensed understanding. It's okay to be nervous. Just remember, this isn't just about you. It's about your community. You have a voice, and people need to hear it. His words resonated with a truth that ignited a flame of determination within her. Embracing this path meant pushing through her self-doubts. It meant stepping into the space she had carved out with so much effort, a space meant for her community. As they wrapped up the call, exhilaration coursed through Sarah's veins. With each passing second, she recognized that this was more than just an opportunity. It was a chance to grow, to reach beyond her own fears, and to elevate the voices of so many who wanted change. See you next week, Sarah. Together, we'll make something incredible happen, Tom concluded, his enthusiasm contagious. After hanging up, Sarah sat in silence, realization washing over her. She wasn't just stepping into a partnership. She was stepping into a new version of herself, a more confident, bolder version ready to face whatever lay ahead. But as excitement filled the air, a lingering question echoed in her heart. Could she truly rise above the shadows of doubt, or would they pull her back just as quickly as she had begun to break free? Determined to find the answer, she took a deep breath and began jotting down ideas for her presentation, her fingers flying across the page. And as she did, a message came through on her phone. A notification from the community forum. She paused, glancing at the screen. It wasn't just another reminder. It was a comment, but it would become a catalyst for a decision she hadn't anticipated. What happens when everyone doesn't support you? The message read. That was the leap she needed. The universe was testing her resolve, and she was ready for whatever came next. The question lingered in her mind, echoing like a message in a bottle tossed into a turbulent sea. Sarah felt the tension tighten in her chest. What if she poured her heart into this presentation, only to be met with indifference or even disdain? She shook her head, trying to banish the thought. Instead, Sarah grabbed a notepad, determined to focus on her vision. Ideas flowed as she began to craft her presentation. She wrote about workshops that could teach skills, foster connections, and provide resources for families overwhelmed in their daily struggles. She envisioned a community thriving with support, a network where all voices were acknowledged. As the evening deepened, the rain transformed into a soft drizzle, adding a rhythmic backdrop to her thoughts. Each word she scribbled down felt like a building block, bringing her closer to her dream. Still, doubt flickered at the edges of her mind. She remembered whispers from passers-by in the community, their disapproving glances when she first began advocating for change. Those moments played like a grim movie, replaying scenes of rejection. Fingers freezing mid-stroke on her pen, Sarah took a breath. She couldn't let those shadows define her. Remember why you started, she whispered to herself, regaining that fire she felt earlier. She thought of the families, the children laughing in the community center, the hope in the eyes of those willing to stand together. Her heartbeat quickened with a renewed sense of purpose. The clock ticked on, and she crafted her narrative. Each time she felt doubt creep in, she pushed it away by reminding herself of what Tom had said. Being nervous was a part of growth. Taking that leap meant embracing both the fear and the potential waiting on the other side. That night, Sarah burned the midnight oil, her desk strewn with papers filled with ideas and sketches. There was no time for uncertainty now. She was preparing for something big. The next few days flew by in a whirlwind of preparation. Sarah juggled her responsibilities at the community center with these newfound ambitions. Every time she rehearsed her pitch, she saw the faces of the people she wanted to uplift. As the deadline approached, she felt surge after surge of inspiration. Then came the morning of the conference. The day greeted her with brilliant sunlight streaming through the clouds, as if the skies themselves were cheering her on. Butterflies fluttered in her stomach as she dressed. Her hands trembled slightly as she pulled on a crisp blouse, reminding herself to breathe. Focus, she whispered to her reflection, determination glinting in her eyes like a promise made. Arriving at the venue, Sarah was swept up in the buzz of the crowd. It felt electric, filled with potential. She watched individuals exchanging ideas, laughter echoing in the hall. Yet, as she caught sight of the local business leaders, her stomach twisted again. What if they didn't see the value in her vision? What if they dismissed her outright? As she stood at the back of the large conference room, Tom approached, a warm smile on his face. "Ready?" he asked, his presence somehow calming. Sarah nodded, though her heart raced. "I think so," she replied, trying to muster confidence. Tom's eyes sparkled with support. "Remember, you're not just presenting for yourself. You're representing your community. They are behind you." Gathering her courage, Sarah took a deep breath. She stepped forward as her name was announced, the spotlight flipping to her like a switch. But just as she began, a murmur swept through the audience. "And now she is here to talk about?" The voice from behind was smug, skeptical. Sarah froze for a moment, seizing in a rush of panic. Could she really command this space? Would she be heard? That lingering question loomed larger than ever. As she opened her mouth to speak, she felt an overwhelming desire to prove herself. Would this be the moment she finds her strength or stumbles under pressure? The crowd leaned in. The room fell silent. And so began the journey of a woman who felt she had everything to prove. The silence felt thick, like a heavy fog wrapping around Sarah, squeezing the air out of her lungs. For a fleeting moment, all she could hear was the erratic pounding of her heart. The audience, a mix of community members and local leaders, stared back at her, some eagerly, others with a hint of condescension. "Okay, Sarah, breathe," she thought, feeling a surge of warmth rise to her cheeks. She took a deep breath and reminded herself of those families, those kids whose laughter fueled her passion. "Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today." Her voice wavered at first, but she steadied it, digging deep to find that confident tone she had practiced so many times. "I'm here to talk about a vision for our community, a community where every child has opportunities and every family feels supported." The initial whispers among the audience quieted. She had their attention. Imagine workshops that teach skills, everything from budgeting to cooking healthy meals. Programs that connect people to resources, where they can lean on one another for strength. Her passion flowed through her words, each one building on the last, a wave of conviction driving her forward. Just as she began to feel the momentum, the voice behind her piped up again, dripping with mockery. "But why now? Isn't it a bit late to start this kind of thing?" Stung, Sarah felt the heat of embarrassment flood her again. Was this what she was up against? She glanced at Tom, who gave her a nod of encouragement. This wasn't about her. This was about everyone who had felt ignored or diminished. "I know it seems late," she replied, her tone firm but measured. "But every day is a new chance to change the narrative. To start over. Doesn't our community deserve that? And isn't it in our hands to decide what happens next?" Sarah felt a ripple of support, murmurs of agreement beginning to spread through the room. She allowed the moment to unfold, taking it all in. Her heart swelled. As she continued, her words snapped into focus like a camera lens adjusting to reveal the bigger picture. "We have the power to create a network of connection and resources that many families are desperately seeking." She painted vivid scenes of bustling workshops filled with laughter, families sharing meals, stories exchanged over cups of coffee. The faces of the children in her community sparkled in her mind, their futures illuminated by opportunity and hope. Just when she thought she had found her rhythm, she caught sight of a tall figure in the back row. It was David, the CEO of a local company, known for his philanthropic work. His gaze was steady, curious. "Sarah," he called, interrupting her flow. "What specific support are you offering to these families? What makes your vision unique?" For a split second, doubt flickered again, but she quickly quelled it. "I'm glad you asked, David," she said, meeting his gaze fiercely. "Rather than just providing surface-level support, I aim for programs that empower individuals. We want to teach skills that build confidence, skills that people can carry with them long after the workshops end." The room buzzed with curiosity as she spoke. Something was shifting. She could feel it in the air. "I believe that change happens not just from a podium, but through collaboration, by forming partnerships with local businesses, schools, and organizations willing to invest in our future." The crowd leaned in closer, collective interest peaked. Sarah could almost sense the tides turning. She poured every ounce of passion she held into each word, every vision crafted in her mind coming to life. As she reached the end of her presentation, she took a step back, vulnerability blooming in her chest. This journey is not just mine, it's ours. Together, we can make this a community where everyone has a voice, where everyone matters. The finality of her words hung in the air, an echo of hope. But just as she finished, another voice broke through the applause that followed. What if they don't want this? What if you fail? It was the same skeptical voice from before. This time it penetrated deeper, clawing at her confidence. With her heart racing, Sarah felt a rush. Would she let doubt tighten its grip again? Or would she embrace what lay ahead? Caught between her ambition and the fears swirling in the room, Sarah's thoughts raced. What did it mean to truly succeed? Was it all worth the risk? The moment closed, but the question lingered like a soft shadow. Would she build bridges, or would she let the critiques wash over her like rain, leaving her standing still? Sarah stood on the edge of uncertainty, heart pounding against her chest, the room buzzing with expectancy just inches away. She could feel the warmth from friendly faces, their hope twinkling in their eyes like stars. Yet, the shadow of self-doubt still crept in. She was a mother, a fighter, and here she finally was, ready to align her dream with reality. The skepticism from the crowd echoed in her mind. But then, she also heard the laughter of her children, their carefree giggles igniting a spark within her. Could she allow fear to dictate her future? No, she thought, resolve stitching together the fragments of her heart. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward again. Fear is inevitable, but so is change. Her voice steadied. Fear is what keeps us down, holding our dreams hostage. But if this community has shown me anything, it's that we have the strength to rise together. A ripple of agreement washed through the audience, and Sarah felt that momentum. All those conversations, those whispers of encouragement swell around her like a warm tide. It wasn't just her voice on that stage. It was the unified cry of everyone who had ever felt dismissed, overlooked, or held back. Today, let us not be bound by the fear of failure. Instead, let us break those chains. Let us lift each other up. The energy surged through her, and she could see people nodding, leaning in, momentarily captivated. Just then, soft applause began to build, swelling like a gentle wave, smothering her doubts underfoot. Marissa stood near the front, teeming with pride, her face radiant. David raised his hand, excitement radiating from him as he offered to partner in sponsoring the workshop series. "You've got us fired up, Sarah," he exclaimed, and the crowd cheered. Every voice mattered. It echoed in her heart. The shift was palpable. Together they could cultivate a community filled with affirmation, support, and love. She spoke with intensity now, sharing stories of individual struggles she had witnessed throughout her journey, about the children yearning for a mentor, the overwhelmed parents seeking connection. The room transformed, the audience becoming a living tapestry of shared experiences. Encouragement filled the air, stronger than any negativity that had wrapped around her thus far. As the session wrapped up, promises began pouring in, friends offering resources, local businesses sharing ideas on how to collaborate, and parents eager to participate in workshops. Sarah's heart fluttered. Tears brimmed in her eyes, not of sadness or despair, but tears of unwavering joy. She felt tethered to something bigger than herself, something beautiful. She had woven a network of light through vulnerability, and it burned brightly within that room. As the conference concluded, hands reached for her, people wanting to connect, to collaborate, to soar together. They didn't just want her initiative. They wanted the heartbeat of their community to echo louder. "This is only the beginning," Sarah said, breathing deeply, feeling the enormity of this moment settle over her. Marissa rushed to her side, giving her a joyous hug. "You did it. You truly spoke from your heart and changed the room." "I never imagined it would come together like this," Sarah admitted, feeling the weight of doubt lift off her shoulders. "But I couldn't have done it without all the love and support surrounding me." With each passing moment, Sarah felt transformed, not just as a leader, but as a mother, a friend, and an advocate for change. The experience had taught her the beauty of resilience and the power embedded in community. Days turned into weeks, And each evening Sarah pushed further, organizing workshops, generating partnerships, and fostering connections among families. Their shared laughter resonated throughout the center, and for each battle they faced, new allies stood beside them, sharing their voices. As Sarah gazed out over the diverse community gathering, her heart swelled with gratitude. The fairgrounds were now alive with chatter and excitement, the very space where her journey had begun. Her father stood with her, pride radiating from his eyes, and in that moment, she knew she was enough. She was more than a number. She was a force. As twilight dipped low, washing over the fair with a gentle glow, Sarah whispered to herself, "We've only just begun." This was her call to action, her invitation to every single person watching from the sidelines. You need to subscribe now to the channel. Don't miss the next exclusive stories that could help you transform your life. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure the world sees the power of our community. Comment your feelings about this journey and let us connect, and share this incredible transformation with at least 5 friends who need to walk the path of change. Let us rise together. Don't wait, not even one more second, to boost this message. You're part of something greater. Stand with us.